Trevor Bayne, we saw running among the lead foursome for a lot of the first half of this race. Now he's all the way back in 24th place, a lap down. That is his Roush Fenway teammate Carl Edwards, who spent time behind the wall, who's come up to try and help push Trevor back up toward the free pass position. Meanwhile, fight for the lead there on the right as Clint Boyer, Tony Stewart, 33 and 4. Work on the Gibbs guys, Logano and Kyle Busch in 20 and 18. So the personal fight for the lead up front there between these two groups continues to put some distance on the rest of the field. Logano gets that lap. So Bayne with the flat tire a minute ago, remember, again dropped him a lap down. Carl Edwards spent 12 laps behind the wall, so he's now trying to help push Trevor up about 5 more spots on the racetrack to see if he can get in position to get the free pass at the next caution. That swap you're seeing right now between teammates Joey Logano in 20 and Kyle Busch in 18, it's all about communication. Listen.
Hey, 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 look who's back. Love you. I like you too. We're going to the outside unless you need to switch. Yeah, stay behind him. Switch into 1. Not really. You got to check up a little bit here.
And as Tony Stewart comes pushing by for the lead. Remember, after that last restart, Logano and Kyle Busch were separated by the double up on the restart when they got back together in the draft. That's obviously
having a little bit of fun.
They were celebrating.
Nice little Saturday afternoon ride.
All right, now car off the pace, back straightaway. Michael Annette, remember, involved in a crash earlier as the race for the lead. 2 by 2. Not necessarily the Daytona draft we've been used to seeing, but still double wide for the lead. Heads off to 3. We head upstairs to Marty Reed, Dale Jarrett, and Andy Petrie.
And thank you so much, Alan, as we go back on board with Clint Boyer. The tough break for Trevor Bayne, but right now he's trying to get help from his Roush Fenway Racing teammate, Carl Edwards. We'll keep you posted as they try and push their way back. He's still in 24th position. He's got to pick up quite a few spots to get into that lucky dog position. These guys are now side by side and slowly but surely trying to open up a bit of a more gap. They're 5 seconds now ahead of Landon Castle and Brad Keselowski. They have teamed up. Castle restarted 31st. Remember, he was involved in one of the incidents earlier in the race.
Yeah, but he was a beneficiary of the little mishap we had with the 22 when he didn't get it full of fuel, so he had to start back in the pack. He's got a really fast car. He was up front. He was one of the lead tangos earlier, so he's got a good drafting partner, Landon Castle does, with Brad Keselowski.
Then right behind them is Reed Sorensen and Ricky Stenhouse Jr. And then rounding out the top 10, it's Dale Earnhardt Jr. and Danica Patrick.
Switching. 3 wide.
You heard him say switching? And boy, I think those two have made the switch faster, cleaner, more consistently than anybody else.
Well, they've made it more times, too. It looks like they can't run quite as many laps without switching, so they've had a lot of practice of doing it today.
But look, I mean, we've seen earlier where guys would lose 10, 12 car lengths. They're still right there.
Yeah, synchronized racing we've gone through here, but they're getting it done.
As long as they're not doing the backstroke, because right now the front stroke is all with Tony Stewart and Clint Boyer as they're ahead of Logano and Kyle Busch with 44 to go.
The NASCAR Nationwide Series 300-mile season opener at Daytona. Coverage presented by GoDaddy.com. Coming your way on a beautiful Florida Saturday. Our aerial coverage presented by Goodyear, the official tire of NASCAR. Everything we've learned making tires for one of racing's most grueling proving grounds inspires what we roll into yours. Goodyear, more driven. The two-car tag teams for the race lead. Clint Boyer, 33, Tony Stewart, 4, and the Joe Gibbs Racing teammates, Joey Logano, 20, and Kyle Busch, 18. Stewart on his radio with his spotter a short while ago.
Hey, you got to have a girl take to the prom today. What? Need a girl to take to the prom today for the dance. Yeah, I got one. I got this big blonde-haired chick in front of me.
Blonde-haired chick referring to Clint Boyer, the driver of that 33 car. And seeing another twosome begin to draw in on this race for the lead.
Take a look at Landon Castle and Brad Keselowski. They're really starting to run this group down. The rest of these guys keep swapping back and forth, trying to cool these engines off. And Keselowski and Castle are hooked up pretty good right now.
Yeah, they really are, and don't look too far back. We've got the 99 car, Michael Waltrip. He's made his way up into the top 10. He's also getting ready to work his way up towards these 6 cars and see if he can mix it up a little bit. We know he's good.
As we head back upstairs to Marty, DJ, and Andy, remember that at lap 15, Landon Castle in that red 1 car was spinning through the tri-oval grass. Now he's pushing his way toward the lead of this race, guys.
Yeah, he was 31st after that incident, Alan, and boy, right now there he is in that 5th spot.
Swap.
And they're going to make the swap.
That's the first time that's happened with these two. They have run this group down by Brad Keselowski staying behind, getting just enough air to keep his car from running hot, but that got him caught up to the leaders.
Well, Landon did a good job of making the swap, but boy, look how smooth and quick the 18 and the 20 make that exchange.
It's been pretty methodical with Landon Castle and Brad Keselowski here doing that. They were about 3 to 4 tenths of a second faster on average by not swapping.
Let's get more on Landon Castle, Dave.
And that's just a little bit of an experience on his part. Remember, he has a fast race car. That's his biggest asset. They got the grass off of the grill after that spin earlier. No other damage. Crew Chief Dick Harrison told me they just had a conversation with the 22 crew. They plan to be on pit road for the final time on lap 97.
All right, thanks, Dave. As you saw that 4 cars that they went around, putting them a lap down. Casey Kane's in that group. Trevor Bayne still trying to fight his way out of that mix, get back on the lead lap. And meanwhile, the front 4 going after each other again. Castle and Keselowski sort of lost each other.
Yeah, that just shows just what Andy talked about earlier in the show was the experience factor. And whenever they made that swap, they have lost probably a second and a half, 2 seconds to these leaders now.
Crossing the stripe, we've now completed 85 laps. We've had 25 lead changes. The record here at Daytona is 35. Top of the hour. Glad that if you're just tuning in, you have missed an awful lot. Race leader right now is Clint Boyer, but you need a dance partner. As you've got Brad Keselowski with the fastest lap. Danica Patrick dropping back now to 13th. She was running up front for quite a while. Joey Logano, Kyle Busch up front, I should say right now. Back in 3rd and 4th, it is Tony Stewart and Clint Boyer with Brad Keselowski and Landon Castle dropping a little bit further back. They're 2 seconds behind the lead group. We have a total of 9 cars either off or out of this race. And as far as lead cars on the lead lap, 17. Bobby Santos, the 3rd, is the last car on the lead lap right now in 17th position. Mike Bliss is in the lucky dog spot. That gets you caught up, and stay with us because we've had 26 lead changes between 8 different drivers, and the record is 35. And here we go again. High side, the 4, Tony Stewart. Remember, he has won here 3 years in a row, 5 of the last 6. And his blonde-headed prom date pushing him right behind. He made that comment over the radio right before we came to the top of the hour. And boy, they're opening up some space.
Yeah, you can see the 22 and the 1 car back there with Keselowski and Castle. It looks like Keselowski's a better pusher than Landon is in that 1 car, and they've switched back again. We'll see if they can't now run them back down.
Let's go back a little deeper in the field. Running 16th and 17th is Danica Patrick and Bobby Santos. 3rd. Great story on both of these cars, especially Bobby Santos. Let's talk about that 52. How about it, Vince?
What a great story it's been for Bobby Santos, Tommy Baldwin development driver running for Jimmy Means this weekend. Crashed early in the weekend, did not have a backup car. Dale Jr., strong relationship with Jimmy Means, said, we'll give him a car to run. So they rolled Eric Almirola's backup out for Santos. And he said, don't just get it in and park it. Get it in and race it. And Santos has been doing just that. I think Dale Jr.'s a racer, but Santos showing he's quite a bit of racer too. Having a good day. His first time ever racing in the Nationwide Series on a super speedway.
Santos was the 2010 Whelen Modified Series Championship, winning 4 times in 14 starts. A couple cars in front of him, Eric Almirola. He's also looking for a big year this year with Junior Motorsports. They're in the 88. You see his cycle since the restart there. These are the last 3 cars on the lead lap, Almirola, Patrick, and Santos. Joe Nemechek also having a good run right now. Front row Joe, who has the most pole positions here in Nationwide Series history with 5. He is in the 14th spot right now. And right in front of him is the 51 of Jeremy Clements. Let's get an update from pit road from Dave Burns.
And Jeremy's crew chief, Ricky Pearson, the son of the great Silver Fox, David Pearson, told me a little bit earlier that Jeremy needed a dance partner. I said, and early in the race, he had no idea who it would be. But then a little bit later, I checked with him. He said, I think Nemechek. And Joe's been running very, very fast all day, that 87 car. And so the 51 and the 87 may be buds for the rest of the afternoon.
Yeah, and you mentioned David Pearson. You interviewed him on Thursday during our practice. Remember that he was winner here 6 times, including the 76 Daytona 500. And so I think you asked him if he wanted to go out there and do this 2-car tango. He said, no way. While those guys continue to fight their way towards the front, the cars that are up front, Tony Stewart, Clint Boyer with Landon Castle and Brad Keselowski now have pushed their way back into 3rd.
Just over 50 miles to go. Here's our 5-hour Energy Rapid Recap. It's been all about the 2-car tango today.
Oh, you got to have a partner out there, and it's only 2 cars working. And it's not 3 or 4 hooked together, just 2. Kind of a weird deal. I've never seen this before, Brad.
Yeah. Danica Patrick does a good job. Gets out early. Clint Boyer gets behind her, gives her some push. Gets in the draft with him, learns a lot, dodges this wreck early. Michael Annette spins to the bottom. She just barely skates through. She's done a super job all day long. We saw a bad day for Elliott Sadler.
Elliott Sadler, Kenny Wallace among those caught up in that wreck. And here's Danica being pushed to the front in the draft and actually leading this race. At one point, she's back in 13th now. Carl Edwards, expected to be a contender today. Not so.
Yeah, and just having engine problems today. And, he doesn't have anything to lose either because he's not in the points champion chase. So he's just out here racing, trying to win. See him talking to Jack Roush. They're trying to figure out what in the world went wrong with his Ford.
Electrical troubles. And the front 6. There are 3 sets of 2 now up the front in this race, all within 2 seconds at the front of the pack. Boyer and Stewart, Logano and Kyle Busch, Landon Castle and Brad Keselowski. Those are the top 6. Here's the final round of pit stops. Stock?
Dale Earnhardt Jr. in 1 can of gas only. They're going to sit here and make sure they get it all in. The idea here is he said now it's go time, or rather show time. He wants to hook up on the draft with a 30 car and go to the front. Logano and company coming back.
'22 of Brad. Vince, let's send it down to you.
Brad Keselowski has been up front much of the day today, but he's had to go to the back looking for a partner to get back up to the front. They're going to put in 1 can of fuel for Keselowski. Dave Burns.
And you see Landon Castle pulling away as well. That's his dance partner. Fuel for Landon as well.
So those 2 make their stops. They'll hook back together. And we're waiting to see what happens with Boyer and Stewart. And we're being told there will be a speeding penalty for Todd Bodine. Too fast entering. He has not been a factor in this race as far as being up front. The men up front, Clint Boyer, Tony Stewart, have yet to make their stop. Kyle Busch, Joey Logano also still out there. Then it drops from about another.
How we do it, baby.
Sound like Kyle's having fun.
The 99's in. Let's send it to Dave.
And for a while, he couldn't find anyone to draft with him. Casey Kane finally got locked together there in the 2-car draft with him, but they'll put in enough fuel for Michael to make it to the end, see if he can find another drafting partner. And last night's Truck Series winner is off of pit road trying to go for 2. Vince?
Well, it's been an emotional day for Reed Sorensen. Remember, he found out just before the race they had to change a radiator fitting, so he started at the back of the pack. But he's hooked up with Ricky Stenhouse Jr. The car's been good. Jamie Little.
Ricky Stenhouse Jr. started out the day great, started 10th, went to the front with his partner, but he lost Trevor Bayne. He fell back. His partner now has been Reed Sorensen. He's down and away.
The 52 is also in, and Vince, he's heading your way.
Santos Jr., we documented what an eventful weekend it's been for him. Look, you just saw him slid through his pits. These mistakes you just can't make during this course of the race when you're trying to gain positions. So they're going to make, obviously, put some fuel in it. No tire changes for Santos, but he lost time when he rolled through the pits.
On the right side, you can see that it is Clint Boyer And Tony Stewart coming down pit road.
Yeah, and Kyle Busch, as you can see there, but his teammate and dancing partner stayed on the racetrack, Joey Logano, so it may be a little bit of miscommunication there.
It could be, but it's going to be really close to making it all the way. Dave?
They've gone back and forth on which